This training session is essentially an orientation on the benefits of deploying the corruption risk assessment methodology in the fight against corruption.
Plunderers of the nation's wealth will be held to account, so says the president as anti-corruption training opens. African youths against corruption want Buhari as champion beyond 2018 AU theme. Fake news. Information Minister challenges journalists to be wary of sources of information. Hello and welcome to the Network News broadcast live from Abuja. I am Kenan Ima Aburike. Hingino John Adams is in Lagos while Mariam Adura is in Jos. President Muhammadu Buhari has described the momentum of his electoral victory in 2015 as synonymous with the revolt of the Nigerian people against glaring endemic corruption. He therefore vowed to remain steadfast at ensuring that those who plundered the nation's commonwealth are held to account for their actions as efforts promoting integrity and transparency in the process of government continue. This was while declaring open the corruption risk assessment training for heads of anti-corruption agencies in the African Union in Abuja. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
Corruption risk assessment is one of the preventive tools usually employed towards blocking systemic loopholes which provide opportunity for corruption, especially in the public sector. Heads of anti-corruption agencies from across Africa are here to be empowered with this special skill to cascade it down to their various countries as part of Nigeria's contributions towards minimizing corruption on the continent. The African Union anti-corruption champion, President Muhammadu Buhari, at whose instance the training program is being held, said it is an opportunity to extend the benefits of the corruption risk assessment methodology already deployed in Nigeria to other African countries.
No effort can be too much as we seek to rid our societies of the evil of corruption. This training session is essentially an orientation on the benefits of deploying the corruption risk assessment methodology in the fight against corruption. Thus, I urge participants to embrace it and also take steps to widen the knowledge and skills imparted by supporting the training of risk assessors for their countries.
The president described as heartwarming that most of the African countries have already subscribed to not only the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, but also the African Union Convention on Preventing and Combating Corruption.
The fight against corruption is a battle for the souls of our different countries, and it is one that we must win. Since independence, our continent has suffered from the severe consequences of corruption, and it is imperative that we take steps to reverse the trend.
He said tremendous results have been recorded in the task of instituting integrity and transparency in Nigeria, but the cost of recovery and sanctions are enormous, and corruption is also fighting back.
With enormous stolen resources, elements have attempted to compromise law enforcing institutions and pervert the cause of justice. We continue to implement policies aimed at building resilient systems that can withstand assault by corrupt officials.
The Corruption Risk Assessment Training Program is being conducted by the Anti-Corruption Academy of Nigeria, a research and training arm of the ICPC.
ICPC stands on the principle that an ounce of prevention is worth more than a ton of remedy. This is against pursuing individuals after the deed is done.
The African Union and ECOWAS commissions, as well as the United Nations, delivered messages of goodwill at the event.
The World Economic Forum estimates that the cost of corruption is at least $2.3 trillion a year. Corruption begets more corruption and fosters a corrosive culture of impunity.
I must as well commend His Excellency's bounding will and fervent commitment in making transparency, accountability and integrity the cornerstone of governance.
Highlights of the opening ceremony was the presentation of the report of the Corruption Risk Assessment of Nigeria's e-government systems by President Muhammadu Buhari. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, participants in one of the technical sessions of the anti-corruption risk assessment training have identified weak sanctions and oversight as some of the causes of deep-rooted corruption across Africa, with dire consequences on development of countries in the continent. Metari Yiben reports that a training session was held for heads of anti-corruption agencies in Africa.
The anti-corruption crusade on the African continent has never been as forceful as it is lately, with Nigeria in the front line. And this is understandable, as corruption has put the continent on the backstage of development globally.
Corruption in Liberia has undermined good governance. It has paralyzed the economy, which is very dangerous for sustainable peace and development.
Like James Kingsley from Liberia, heads and representatives of anti-corruption agencies drawn from more than 20 African countries are understudying Nigeria's progress in deploying resilient financial systems such as the Treasury Single Account and the Bank Verification Number to prevent corruption in the first instance. The trainers note that plugging loopholes that encourage corruption is a sustainable way of fighting the menace.
When the system is such that a lot of leeway is given to the person in charge, then, you are creating a system that will allow corruption to try.
We heard a lot of good things from Nigeria, from the Nigerian experience of fighting corruption. It's a way for us to enhance our experience.
The lessons learned from here may just help us to improve the way we conduct corruption risk assessment.
This has really boosted Mr. President's position as the champion of anti-corruption in Africa.
As Nigeria champions the fight against corruption, other African countries are latching on to the quest to eliminate corruption at all costs from the continent of Africa, and heads of anti-corruption agencies who are attending this training are resolute about fighting corruption with greater vigor and tested strategies when they go back home. From the conference center, State House, Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Joining me is Dr. Musa Usman Abubakar, Acting Chairman, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission. You're welcome to NTA Network News.
Thank you very much.
What is your assessment of the corruption risk assessment of Nigeria's e-government system?
My assessment of the corruption risk assessment of the e-government systems of Nigeria, that is the TSA, that is Treasury Single Account, GIFMIS, and IPPIS, is really a wonderful tool that has actually helped in identifying some weaknesses in the systems, the payment systems used by the government, and by so doing, we're able to, block some leakages in the system.
So you want to tell us it's really working?
Yeah, certainly. From what we found, the e-government systems have actually contributed a lot in preventing people from misappropriating public funds, because they, in their own right, I mean the TSA, GIFMIS and IPIS, they are all preventive tools in their own right. So, but the CRA, as we conducted it on them, it is not actually meant to identify maybe violators of TSA. Our concern is to actually see what are the lapses that makes the system prone to being manipulated by, corrupt civil servants.
Okay, so of what benefit would the 3-day corruption risk assessment training going on in Abuja now be for the AU countries?
Yes, we are all aware that President Muhammad Buhari is the AU anti-corruption champion 2018, and given that his position, it is necessary for Nigeria to export the skills available in Nigeria in the fight against corruption to other African countries, for them to inject it in their own system so that they will also be able to block leakages in their systems.
All right, and finally from me, how far has corruption risk assessment assisted Nigeria in her fight against corruption?
Yes, the corruption risk assessment has assisted Nigeria a lot in a number of ways. Before this e-government platform or e-government systems, corruption risk assessment, we had other corruption risk assessments in other sectors, like port sector, for instance. There are stories, had over the years that, coming to the ports of Nigeria is one of the most difficult, place to be, because, for you, to come with your vessel in Nigerian water, you need to part with a lot of money. So we conducted corruption risk assessment on the port sector, and we discovered that there are loopholes in the system that allowed public servants to engage in such practices.
Okay, so blocking it is where you are right now.
So one of the things we did was to actually, introduce what we call joint boarding of vessels.
Okay.
Before each agency goes into the vessel to inspect, for instance, immigration, customs, army, health and quarantine, but now they go jointly to inspect the vessels. So to us, the more the number of people, the more it will be difficult for someone to entice them. You may not know the disposition of others, but if it is just an individual or maybe 2 persons from one agency goes into the vessel,
all right,
there is likelihood of...
We'd like to thank you indeed for coming.
Thank you very much.
Musa Usman Abubakar. Thanks indeed.
You're welcome.
Now, African Youths Against Corruption have risen from their maiden congress convened by President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja with a request to the African Union to designate him as the anti-corruption champion beyond the 2018 AU theme. Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyama also challenged the youths to prevail on their governments to create mechanisms that will enhance transparency, accountability and effective use of resources for the development of the continent. Foreign Affairs Desk correspondent Makut Simon Macham reports.
The African Youth Congress Against Corruption is one of the strategies adopted by President Muhammadu Buhari in carrying out his mandate as the African anti-corruption champion. This consolidates his meetings with his African counterparts on several occasions, as well as other world leaders, including international agencies such as the United Nations, where he called for action.
We believe very firmly that victory shall be ours in the end against corruption. As our president always says, if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill us. And that's not going to happen. All of us working together will definitely kill corruption, and that is something that we absolutely have to do.
This 2-day youth congress that has young leaders from 54 African countries is therefore another major step that deepens the sustainability of the steps initiated by President Muhammadu Buhari in championing the theme of the African Union 2018, which is winning the fight against corruption, a sustainable path to Africa's transformation. In Abuja, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
A 2-tier presidential intervention structure has been put in place by the federal government towards combating one of the most troubling societal menaces, drugs and substance abuse. The structure comprises a high-level ministerial steering committee chaired by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, as well as a presidential advisory committee headed by retired General Mohammed Buba Marwa. President Muhammadu Buhari, while inaugurating the committees, described the drug menace in Nigeria as a situation of emergency which must be addressed as such. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president's wife, Aisha, is one of the committee's members.
The two high-powered committees comprise several ministers, wives of the president, vice president, and some governors, relevant regulatory and professional agencies, as well as faith-based bodies as members. They have, among other terms of reference, to integrate drugs and substance abuse issues into the extant government policies and initiatives, as well as make recommendations to the federal government on sustainability of interventions needed to totally eliminate the menace in the society. President Muhammadu Buhari described as disheartening that Nigeria, which used to be a transit nation for illicit drugs, is now internationally recognized as a user nation. Statistics reveal that about 3 million bottles of codeine syrup are consumed daily in Kano State and twice that amount across Nigeria.
This is a situation of emergency, and we must address it as such. I therefore charge both committees to tackle the task before them with all commitment that it deserves in recognizing their appointments as a clear call to serve the nation. It is our collective national prayer that the labors of our heroes past shall never be in vain in our time and in the foreseeable future.
While restating the alertness of his administration to the dangers associated with drug abuse endemic, the president used the opportunity to commend his wife, Aisha Buhari, for her passion and commitment at galvanizing efforts at addressing the public health problem.
The need for collective action to help those enslaved by drug build a new life with the view to reduce the demand for drugs by reducing its abuse and addiction is more urgent now than ever before. I am assured of your commitment to this national assignment.
The involvement of the First Ladies, President Buhari said, is meant to spur active participation of women and mothers in the crusade against drug abuse in view of the significant role they play in parenting and care.
It is therefore expected that governors' wives across the Federation will take the lead in replicating this intervention structure at the states and local government levels.
Chairman of the High-Level Steering Committee and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Bosgida Mustafa, assured the President of their commitment to working assiduously towards combating the negative impacts of the drug abuse epidemic in order to guarantee a brighter future for generations yet unborn.
Mr. President, I must emphasize that if this problem is not tackled expeditiously and firmly now, it would in the long run be more dangerous than any other challenges facing this nation, including the insurgency and other forms of security challenges that are confronting us today.
The office of the SGF is to coordinate the activities of the two committees at the federal level, while states are advised to set up their implementation committees as well as corresponding local government structures in view of the need for nationwide collaborative approach. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
You're watching the network news on the NTA. We'll have more news after the break. Join us again.
Together, we started a journey filled with smiles. Together, we touched millions of lives, shared laughter, and hundreds of surprises. We discovered how simple acts of kindness go a long way into building a nation of smiles just for you. It's another year and another opportunity to share millions of smiles with our loved ones. So give more, share more, and build a better world. MTN Season of Surprises Season 4 is here. Surprise someone, no matter how little, so we all can spread more kindness.
And you go surprise me.
The National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress has approved the formation of a National Peace and Reconciliation Committee for all 6 geopolitical zones to address post-primary election disputes. Consequently, National Chairman of the APC, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, has approved appointments for the South-South zone. Composition of the committee is as follows. His Excellency Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, Chairman, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, Alhaji Abubakar Sani Bello, Sullivan Shime, Senator Gbemi Saraki, Dr. Emeka Wogu, Mrs. Aleluchi Kukigam. Meetings with aggrieved members will be held in the following states. Edo, Monday, 10th December, 4 p.m. at Benin Government House. Akwa Ibom, Tuesday 11th, 10 a.m. at the Le Meridian, Uyo. Cross River, Tuesday 11th, 2 p.m. at the Transcorp Metropolitan, Calabar. Delta, Wednesday 12th, 10 a.m. Grand Hotel, Asaba. Rivers, Thursday 13th, 10 a.m. Atrium Event Center, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt. Bayelsa, Thursday 13th, 2 p.m. Atrium Event Center, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt. Barrister Atairu Machido Durumbungwandu, Committee Secretary, Announcer.
Are you all right?
Hospital, all night. Oh. Emergency.
We are losing her.
Don't worry, I'll save her. Driver!
What is wrong with you?
Building burnt down.
What?
It was life or death.
He sent body.
I've got the dog. Hey, Mr. Man, wake up! Santa! Yeah. This is Sparta! My resignation letter, sir.
Glow Augustin, the unrivaled big boss of data. Get 125% bonus on all data plans. Also enjoy unconditional 25% data bonus non-stop on all auto renewals. Dial *777# to choose a plan.
As the number of people wey dey born dey reduce, now so the money wey dem dey get to spend dey increase. Enough proof don dey to show say countries where dem families dey born, the number of people wey dem fit take care of, the stress to take care of the children no dey plenty at all for the family. If families fit dey enjoy this kind benefit of expenses wey no dey too much, you fit imagine how e go fit help boost country economy like Nigeria own. As leader wey you be, the solution dey your hand. And what you need to do now to take action now. All we lawmakers and everybody wey dey power and government must make sure say dem put enough money down. We go make sure say childbirth spacing wey plenty people sabi as family planning services full everywhere. Our pastors, imam, and traditional leaders suppose open mouth tell them people about the better thing wey child spacing they do. This work, now our hand day. We get the full responsibility to do them. We must join hand and get it together. Make our future for bright. Now Federal Ministry of Health, they bring you this message.
Hello.
Hi, Jenny. Can you supply 1,000 bottles of juice by noon?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, bye.
Hello.
One day, I go any store and say I want everything.
Jenny, auntie, please, I need a loan.
One day, anything I want.
Hurry up.
Get it times 2. Someday, I'll be living.
Hello.
Sorry, me lower.
Clean that up. Clean that up.
Because I don't get the money, you downgrade me. Sorry, me lower.
Your order is on the way.
Are you an entrepreneur looking for financing to grow a business? I have good news for you. Development Bank of Nigeria now provides sustainable financing through commercial banks, microfinance banks, and other financial institutions with repayment terms of up to 10 years. Please do remember, paying back your loan in good time will give you access to more loans.
Development Bank of Nigeria. Financing sustainable.
Thank you, Mother of the Nation. On behalf of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, all stakeholders in the SWOT Foundation, beneficiaries of our social interventions, women and the entire good people of Borno State, I convey our deepest and eternal gratitude to Her Excellency, Dr. Aisha Muhammad Buhari, wife of our dear President, Commander-in-Chief. Your Excellency will forever cherish your visit to Maiduguri on Saturday, the 8th of December 2018, during which, as special guest of honor, you commissioned an integrated school of landmark built and being managed by our SWOT Foundation for the provision of free, quality and modernized education to a number of children who lost parents to the unfortunate Boko Haram crisis in Borno State. We are also grateful that in addition to grand opening of our private funded school, Her Excellency took time to commission another new school and complex of classrooms built by the Borno State government as part of drastic measures to change basic education across Borno State. Your Excellency, Mother of the Nation, women and the entire good people of Borno State are once again grateful to you and your entourage on that historic visit that will remain indelible in the eventful history of SWAT. Her Excellency Nana Shetima, wife of the Executive Governor of Borno State, announcer.
To anyone who ever pushed me to go further.
Come on, one more.
To anyone who ever gave me a hand up. To anyone who ever taught me anything I ever learned. To those who work together to set the bar higher. To those who give me the energy to go further. This is my team, and my team makes me.
On behalf of the chairman, General Abdusalami A. Abubakar, and members of the National Peace Committee, I wish to inform presidential candidates and party chairmen of all registered political parties, along with the invited guests, that signing of the National Peace Accord, scheduled for 10 a.m. on 11th December 2018, has been shifted to 3 p.m. The venue of the event, the International Conference Center Abuja, remains the same. I sincerely apologize for any inconvenience the change of time will likely cause. Announcer, Father Atabar Kindo for National Peace Committee.
Welcome back. The Federal High Court sitting in Ado-Ekiti has dismissed the case challenging the eligibility of Dr. Kayode Fayemi to contest the 2018 governorship election in Ekiti State. Justice Uche Agomo today struck out the case for lack of merit. Ayodeji Ogunshakin reports.
The defendant, Segun Oni, approached the Federal High Court to challenge the eligibility of Dr. Kayode Fayemi to contest the 2018 governorship election on the ground that he did not resign his position as minister 30 days before the party's primary, and that he was indicted by the State Panel of Inquiry by the former governor of the state. After considering the preliminary objection of the claimant and the defendant, Justice Uche Agomo ruled that the provision of Section 318 of the nation's constitution did not refer to the first defendant as public or civil servant because he was neither an employee nor a public or civil servant. She also added that Fayemi was validly nominated by the second defendant, All Progressive Congress (APC), and the purported indictment by the Commission of Inquiry by the former governor cannot stand as it has been set aside by a court of coordinate jurisdiction.
While we have nothing to do other than to obey the order of the court, but we still have to study the judgments and make use of whatever the option that is available for us.
The court agreed with the position of the law that a mere indictment by a commission of inquiry or any panel cannot be equated with conviction.
From the Federal High Court at Ado-Ekiti, Ayodeji Ogunshakin, NTA News.
And still talking politics, there has been significant improvement over the years in Nigeria's electoral process. It can, however, be better. This was the consensus of stakeholders at a public hearing organized by the National Assembly Joint Committee on INEC. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has the report.
Buying and improving electoral processes in Nigeria were the issues at stake as the country continues the countdown to the general elections a couple of weeks from now. The two principal officers of the National Assembly and chairman of the Joint Committee on INEC did not mince words in pointing to where the shoe pinches in their opinion of Nigeria's election experience.
Vote buying, by whatever means, remains one of the contemporary challenges that mar the electoral process. We must deal with this ill such in a manner that it does not detract from the credibility and legitimacy of the 2019 election.
Indeed, electoral fraud is one of the worst forms of corruption and should be treated as such. This is the only way we can guarantee the stability and and growth of our democracy.
The responsibility of addressing the menace of vote buying and improving electoral processes is not only the duty of the legislature, but the executive, the judiciary, INEC, police, the army, the political parties, and indeed all relevant stakeholders. So therefore, we must lay a solid foundation for a true democracy.
There were insights by relevant stakeholders on the reasons for and how electoral corruption can be minimized, basically through enhanced monitoring and enforcement of electoral guidelines and rules.
In response to complaints by Nigerians, the Commission has abolished the incidence fund.
And so far as we don't have that mindset to be able to calculate and be able to appraise some of the progress which have been made, then the tendency is that we will not be able to make any progress.
We need to change this attitudinal view of both the electorate and politicians and their supporters, because politics should be seen as a social responsibility.
Two questions that kept recurring at the public hearing, which reminded me of past lessons in economics as it relates to the law of demand and supply, are who is buying and who is selling.
It's even the voters that are not chasing the buyers.
The marketplaces are being shifted from the night time to morning up to the polling center.
It was generally agreed that voter education should be intensified to enable Nigerians understand what they have sold. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
All Progressives Congress Northeast Post-Primary National Peace Committee, led by Governor of Nasarawa State, Tanko Al-Makura, has submitted its report to the Working Committee of the party. National Chairman of the party, Adams Oshiomhole, said party members who have faith in the outcome of the party's primary elections will be adequately rewarded. Political correspondent Salihu Abdullahi reports.
As part of peace-building process, the governing APC constituted a 7-member National Reconciliation Committee for each of the 6 geopolitical zones. The Northeast Committee, led by the Nasarawa State Governor, Tanko Al-Makura, is the first to submit its report after due consultations with APC members across the 6 states in the zone. Governor Al-Makura assured that party members in the Northeast, through their presentations, have shown commitment to ensure successful outing by the party in the next general elections.
And their confidence in our party leadership to vent out their grievances speaks volume of their loyalty to our great party.
National Chairman Comrade Adams Oshiomhole encouraged party members to derive satisfaction from the leadership of those who won elections during the last party primaries and promised that recommendations contained in the 2 volumes report will be made to serve its purpose of uniting members at all levels.
Even if 20 of us file out to contest for governorship, we know ab initio that only one of us will be favored, even if all 20 are angels. But if the democracy is working and working well, that one person that emerges will govern in a way that will add value to the quality of life of every citizen.
He expressed confidence that APC will be victorious in the 2019 polls as party members across the country and beyond continue to appreciate the leadership the party has provided for the country since 2015. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has refuted claims of alleged raid and arrest of the sons of the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar. A statement by Acting Head, Media and Publicity, Tony Orilade, while describing the allegation as unfounded, maintained that the Commission never went after Atiku's sons. Neither were Atiku's sons among the 2 boys arrested during an ongoing investigation on the former Abia State Governor, Senator Theodore Orji, over alleged 27 billion naira money laundering. It also urged the public to disregard the false alarm that the Commission also blocked and/or froze the accounts of the vice presidential candidate of the PDP, Peter Obi, as it is another lie which was aimed to dispute the EFCC. The Commission assures Nigerians of its commitment to the mandate establishing the Commission and will not deviate from it. In the meantime, the presidency has described the allegation by the People's Democratic Party (PDP) of Buhari's government involvement in the alleged raid on the home of the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar's son and the blockage of the bank account of the running mate, former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi, and his family as untrue and a manifestation of the PDP's growing expertise in fake news. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, urges Nigerians to ignore such claims. The Buhari Media Organization BMO has reacted to the allegation by the People's Democratic Party (PDP) that some government agencies have frozen the bank accounts of his vice presidential candidate Peter Obi, his family members and their businesses. A statement by BMO's chairman Niye Akishiju and its secretary Cassidy Maduekwe accused PDP of indulging in cheap lies to shore up its flagging presidential campaign, stating that PDP has now resorted to playing dirty after realizing that its chances of electoral success were bleak. Now, in Akwa Ibom State, Governor Udom Emmanuel has received at a rally members of the All Progressives Congress into the fold of People's Democratic Party. Clement Barikiu reports.
In this arena, former chapter and world executive members of the All Progressives Congress from the 31 local government areas of Akwa Ibom State, who now found a new political platform and have decided to join the PDP.
On behalf of the Elders Council of our great party and all the structure of our party, I want to say you are welcome. Welcome back home.
Governor Udom Emmanuel, who commended the new PDP members for the bold step in joining the party, insisted that the state government is committed to promoting virtues that bring peace and development to Akwa Ibom.
Over 20,000 of you, and then this is just one group. If we were to bring all the groups, International Stadium would have taken us today.
The event featured a formal handover of the defectors to the PDP state chairman. From the Ibom Hall grounds, Clement Barakui, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has again cautioned the media to be wary of purveyors of fake news. The minister handed down the reminder during an interactive session with newsmen in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
The Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed said the reminder has become necessary, given a fake report credited to him as saying President Muhammad Buhari has lost his memory after he went for medication abroad.
Absolutely false. It's untrue. But you see, what bothers me is that it's not going to stop. You will hear more incredulous fake news.
He called on the media to be wary, not to be used by those he described as desperate opposition.
They know that they cannot debate on issues. And they have resorted to fabricating fake news.
Responding to questions on the state of the nation and the electoral bill, given the fact that the 2019 election is near, the minister said the federal government is doing all within its mandate to ensure free, fair and credible election. On allegation that President Muhammad Buhari has been cloned, the minister expressed shock that people could concoct such falsehood.
You see, even the source of the story itself should be, it is something that you should consider, honestly. But do you think the 6 man will be so stupid, none of us will be able to know that we are talking to a clone person?
Reacting to former President Olusegun Obasanjo's support for former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and other allegations against the present administration, Lai Mohammed said the ruling All Progressives Congress will not lose sleep over the matter.
With due respect to the former President Obasanjo, nobody expects, I mean, you see, actually it is his constitutional right to support any candidate of his choice. And we urge him to go out and campaign vigorously for any candidate that he wants to support. I don't think the former president has hidden his preference for the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. And I think we all will wish him the very best of luck. But I want to assure you that his candidate will be defeated roundly and comprehensively.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Let's now go over to Lagos for more news with Hingino John Adams as our guide.
Thank you, Kene, and welcome to Lagos. Justice Muslim Hassan of the Federal High Court sitting at Ikoyi, Lagos, has ordered the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to effect service of charge on the Nigerian Bar Association President, Paul Usoro, SAN. The order followed the inability of the EFCC to arraign Mr. Usoro over alleged 1.4 billion naira fraud against him. Vera Chinyoba has more.
The NBA president, Paul Usoro, arrived at the court premises shortly before 8 o'clock in the morning in the company of his wife, a team of senior learned advocates and lawyers. The planned arraignment of Mr. Usoro over alleged fraud to the tune of 1.4 billion naira was forestalled following the inability of the EFCC to effect personal service on him. EFCC counsel Rotimi Oyedepo informed the court that attempts to serve Usoro with the charge have not been successful, even when the commission had repeatedly put calls across to him, seeking his presence at the commission's office to effect service on him. He also told the court that service cannot be effected on him in the courtroom because the commission's investigative officer, who is in a position to serve him, is at the commission's office in Abuja. The prosecution counsel, Wale Olanipekun, argued that he had perused the provisions of Administration of Criminal Justice Act and found no section required the presence of a defendant at the commission's office to pick up his charge. He urged the commission to serve him in court. This resulted in a noisy courtroom but was put under control. Justice Muslim Hassan ordered the EFCC to effect service of charge on the NBA president. He will be arraigned on the 18th of December. In Lagos, Vera Chumba, NTA News.
Ahead of the 2019 general elections, Muslim faithful have been advised to shun activities that can be counterproductive to national interest. The founder of Lutfullah International, Sheikh Mohammed Rabiu Abdul Malik, gave the advice at a two-day prayer session organized to celebrate the birth of Prophet Muhammad. Awal Yusuf Jibo reports that the Executive Director of Finance of the Nigerian Television Authority, Fatima Bada, represented the Director General, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad.
Sheikh Mohammed Rabiu Abdul Malik emphasized the need for Nigerians to imbibe the spirit of peaceful coexistence as the nation prepares for the general elections.
We have dedicated this year's prayers to ushering peaceful election come 2019 because we need peace and we have no power. The only power we have is the power of God Almighty.
We want all the Nigerians to call on Almighty Allah to please be in our midst before, during, and after the election.
Muslim clerics further stressed the need to give priority to good neighborliness. They are also advised to emulate the Prophet Muhammad in service to humanity.
He's the one that God sent to mankind to take us away from the path of disobedience, to guide us to the path of righteousness, obedience to God, to serve the only true God, Allah.
So if you have the love that he has and we also use it around ourselves, we will have a good society.
Prophet Muhammad was born in Mecca, Saudi Arabia to Abdullah and Amina. His birthday celebrations, known in Islam as Maulud al-Nabi, is celebrated across the world to remind Muslims of the need to imbibe his virtues. He started preaching at the age of 40 and did so for 23 years. He died at the age of 63. In Lagos, Awal Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
Team Nigeria to the 2019 Multivator Pan-African TV show powered by Guinness Nigeria PLC emerged after a series of mental and physical tests. Olumide Eguntola was at the grand finale of the season 2 of the challenge held in Lagos.
The season 2 of the Multivator Challenge TV show started in Ibadan, where 4 lucky finalists emerged. Likewise, 16 other finalists emerged from the auditions held in Benin, Enugu, Abuja, and Lagos. However, these 20 contestants converged on the indoor sports hall of Teslim Balogun Stadium for the grand finale of the show to determine the best 6 that will represent Nigeria at the Pan-African TV show scheduled for next year. The contestants competed in a series of mentally challenging obstacle games. The last that produced the best 6 competitors was the search for a bottle of Malta Guinness in a pool of balls with a clue from a puzzle solvable via teamwork.
I am bringing the money back now. The money go enter my hand. I'm not going to give up until the money enter my hand. There are 1,000,001 girls out in the streets. I'm going to take it off the streets.
By God's grace, we are going to bring back the victory here.
We're going to compete against other countries, and I can't allow Nigeria to take last.
Executives of Malta Guinness, the initiator of the Multivator Challenge TV show, said this is one of the company's means of empowering and giving back to its customers.
It's about the believability of proposition. When we tell Nigerians and Malta Guinness for your greatness, we are bringing it to life through the Multivator. We are telling you that Malta Guinness gives you the energy to be you, energy to do more, energy to go for greatness.
We're very proud of them. They've shown agility, can-do spirit, and all the positivity that Malta Guinness brings to bear.
The 6 lucky winners representing Team Nigeria will compete against their counterparts from Ethiopia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Cameroon at the Multivator Pan-African TV show for the grand prize of $20,000. In Lagos, Olumide Eguntola, NT News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. More reports ahead after this timeout. Please stay with us.
Hey, can you feel it? Glow is in the air. It's data. It's what you use every time you download music. Data. It's what streams movies. Data. It's what the banks use to check your account. Data. It's the very lifeblood of modern living. Data. And where does it all come from? Well, according to industry sources, more and more of it came from here. They acknowledge that Glow is now the largest data network in Nigeria. With your own Glow One submarine cable linked seamlessly to tens of thousands of kilometers with your own fiber optic cable. Glow can provide a huge data capacity anywhere at a more flexible and affordable price than anyone. It's simple. So you see, Glow is in the air. It's everywhere.
Data is oxygen. Get 125% bonus on all data plans. Also enjoy unconditional 25% data bonus non-stop on all auto renewals. Dial *777# to choose a plan.
What's up?
His friends didn't come.
Hey, let's practice.
But you're going out.
Don't worry about me.
Nothing satisfies a mother more than seeing a child grow up. But I know as he sweats, he'll face the risk of germs which can cause skin irritation.
That's why you need the new best ever Dettol Cool. Its new advanced formulation with extra menthol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs and gives your family icy cool freshness.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Nigeria we hail. Those who divide our people are getting better at their game. Yet, now we did do ourselves pass. Lecturer, they oppress student them. Bus driver, they show passenger where. Local government people are terrifying local government people. Campaign people will come and go. Grammar people will remain. So now, many people have become Uncle Thomases, unwilling to desire or work for a better nation. We must continue to push and believe, and small, our prayers will be answered. This education you go get out. These children, them go grow and prosper. And this business, they not go spoil for your hand, because Union Bank understands what it means to push through challenges, and together we go clear every doubt when they are our way. Don't be an Uncle Thomas. Union Bank, your simpler, smarter bank.
Expressions without words won't have it.
any other way. Moments will feel joy. Been lost in the moment, the freedom. You will find that's what's celebrating. Bring your moment to life. Find your satisfaction in the nourishing trend and sparkling. Let's celebrate a little way, making big differences in the nourishing trend and sparkling.
Enjoy in red grape, white grape, peach variants, the Valletta sparkling fruit drink. Celebrate every moment.
In Nigeria, there is one sound we need to silence. So let's silence toothache before it starts with Oral-B All-Round Protection. Its advanced technology helps prevent both tooth hopes and gum problems that can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your teeth, giving them all-round protection. Because the only sound we really want to hear is that of our future. For healthier, stronger teeth in 1 week.
Yeah, make me go wild. Yo, I'm flipping out now. No matter what I do, I'm gonna win. My only move is I'm all in. Cause I'm officially obsessed. Yeah, I'm officially obsessed. Can't get it out of my head. It's taking over. I'ma let it. I'm all about it.
Thank you very much.
Oga from where done? I bet some me want malaria medicine for you.
You don't run malaria test, so?
Of course not. I want that one when I be the bite before chloroquine.
No more before malaria medicine for here. Oh. Now confirm malaria medicine will be artemisinin-based combination therapy (ACT) where they kill malaria pata na here the same.
ACT. Like to the art film.
No, nah. ACT, the one where they act for the malaria, where they live for inside our body, like person when they pay rent, come kill them, finish at one time.
Me one now.
You don't go.
Yes, so if you get symptoms like fever, always test and confirm. So you get malaria. Go ask for ACT, artemisinin-based combination therapy from your pharmacy. Now, Government of Nigeria and Rollback Malaria Partners bring you now this message. For a malaria-free Nigeria, play your part.
We now join Maria Madura in our Jos Network Center for more news.
You're welcome to Jos. 9 additional suspects have been included to the 19 already facing trial in connection with the killing of the late Army General Idris Alkali. This was at the resumption of hearing of the case in Jos High Court, presided over by Justice Daniel Longji. Rinret Lot reports.
When the case came up for hearing, the State Director of Prosecution, Gedelia Fomyon, appeared to take over prosecution on the order of the Attorney General of the Federation. Citing Section 211 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, the Director of Prosecution said, in offenses against the state, only the Director for Public Prosecution is empowered by law to handle prosecution. Since the other councils had no objection, presiding judge Justice Daniel Longji granted the prayer. Taking on the case, the state DPP still asked for more time to enable him study the case, amend the charges brought against the 9 additional suspects, and to process bail charges. The case was adjourned to 17 December to process the requested applications. From the State High Court, Jos, Rinret Sylvanus Lot, NTA News.
The Catholic Archbishop of Jos, Most Reverend Ignatius Kegama, has stressed the need for religious and community leaders to use their positions to inculcate mutual respect and uphold religious values in order to promote a peaceful society. The Archbishop made this known when he led a team of visiting Christian leaders from Niger Republic to Anglo-Jos community in Jos South local government area of Plateau State in continuation of his visit to various communities in Jos. Caleb Gucci has more.
Imam of Anglo-Jos Jumat Mosque, Sheikh Isa Dahiru May Awaki, and some elders of the community received the entourage, which include Archbishop of Niamey and Bishop of Maradi from the Republic of Niger.
Peace is cheaper than conflict, violence, or war. Our religions are meant to unite us, to build us, to edify us.
Archbishop of Niamey, Lawrence Lompo, who spoke in Hausa, said he is happy with the harmonious existence he saw between Christians and Muslims, despite the negative reports he has heard on the media about Nigeria. He encouraged citizens to imbibe the teachings and values of their religions. The Imam and other community leaders expressed gratitude to the Archbishop for his untiring efforts at ensuring that unity and peace are restored in Plateau State. In the same vein, as part of efforts at ensuring that peace and tranquility prevail in Plateau State, Dialogue, Reconciliation and Peace Center JOS has continued to meet with key players to chart a way forward. The forum lauded the doggedness of both religions at maintaining peace in the crisis-affected areas. Addressing the gathering, Archbishop Ignatius Kaigama commended the state and federal governments, urging them to provide relief to victims of the crisis as well as rebuilding structures. In Jos, Caleb Gochin, NT News.
That's a wrap from here. Have a good evening.
Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria, APCON, in partnership with Brandman Communications Limited, invites chief executives, heads and staff of media and communications department of government institutions all over the country to the first ever Nigerian Public Sector Branding Summit, holding in Abuja.
Theme: Branding Approach, a tool for enhancing public sector objectives.
Chief host Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Minister for Information and Culture.
There will be keynote presentations and panel discussions from notable brand experts, peer review opportunities and networking at the one-day summit.
Date is Tuesday, 11th of December 2018. Venue is Shehu Musaya Adwa Center, Central Business District, Abuja. Time is 9 a.m. prompt.
For further information, please call 0803-314-5691, 0803-590-0078.
Nigeria Public Sector Branding Summit, promoting a culture of excellence in government institutions. Announcer, Mrs. Ijeli Yor, Acting Registrar, Chief Executive Officer, Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria, APCON.
What's up?
His friends didn't come.
Hey, let's practice.
But you're going out.
Don't worry about me.
Nothing satisfies a mother more than seeing a child grow up. But I know as he sweats, he'll face the risk of germs which can cause skin irritation.
That's why you need the new best ever Dettol Cool. Its new advanced formulation with extra menthol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs and gives your family icy cool freshness.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Discover the all-new Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Lotion, specially formulated with Nivea's Deep Moisture Serum and Africa's natural cocoa for 48-hour deep moisture. Glowing, radiant skin with Nourishing Cocoa Lotion from Nivea. Now say goodbye to dry skin with great Nivea specials this Harmattan season.
Who am I? I'm a caregiver. Ace.
The death has been announced of Hajia Hafsatu Sunema. She was aged 80. A statement from the bereaved family indicates that